Hello and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. It chooses the horror movie and they discuss it. Today we're talking about 1986's Poltergeist 2, The Other Side, which was directed by Brian Gibson. I'm your co-host Alec.
I'm Erik.
And a long time coming.
We put this one on the back burner.
Yeah, this one we were supposed to do like a month ago. Whatever. I mean, hey, listen. If there's a hardcore fan base out there for this movie and they're actually mad, DM us.
Yeah, it's been a busy month for me, people. I left my job and I've been job hunting. So like I've been like every day I'm like, oh, I gotta watch Poltergeist 2, and it's like hey Alec, can we like not do it this week?
Can we do Scary Movie 2? Like, what? No, what? It doesn't matter. I just think it's funny, and I kind of wish that we did this forever, where like every week we're like, next week's Poltergeist 2, and then it's just like some random movie. I really wish we did that. But
yeah, I'm just worried about all the like hardcore Poltergeist 2, The Other Side fans.
There's a lot of them.
I'm sure.
There's a lot.
I'm sure. I've seen the Instagram. There's a lot.
The Instagram for this movie. I mean, here's the thing. I actually like this movie. It's not nearly as good as the first one, but it's not like bad. I don't know. Did you hate it?
Okay. I'm gonna be nice. The special effects are really good. Really good. And they did spend money on them. But you cannot deny that this is the biggest, like, all right, Poltergeist, like the board meeting, like all the producers and whatever, executives. They come in the meeting like, okay, we don't have Steven. Steven doesn't want to be any part of this movie, but we're making a Poltergeist 2, and it's going to make money, and we're doing it. So write it on a Denny's napkin. I don't care. Just make the movie. It's like, how much of a budget? This much. It made a lot of money, too, Alec. It did.
Yeah.
So I just think this was like the most crapped out sequel ever in my mind.
I mean, it would feel more crapped out if it came out like the year after. You know, like this one came out 4 years after the previous one. Previous one had a $10 million budget, made $120 million. So yeah, huge profit. So this one, they're like, all right, how about we give them $19 million and we'll see what happens. You know, I think it made like $75 million or something like that. So it didn't make nearly as much money, but it continued the lore. It added an actual villain that could complete the trilogy. But yeah, it is a substantial step down from the first one for sure.
Well, they add like the Native American piece to it, which I don't really remember that from the first one as much, but I kind of do. But I just know it was a grave site that they had to move. That they just decided we're not going to spend the money to move the bodies. We're just going to move the headstones.
Right.
And that was it. There was no like Native American thing to it. But I guess it really wasn't a huge Native American thing either, aside from that character Taylor.
Right.
It was more this preacher cult leader that was buried there in that normal cemetery. So
it's so, I mean, like that's the thing, it adds this whole other layer to it where it's like, okay, so Kane and his like followers knew that like 100 years in the future there'd be a girl that had telepathic powers that would live above the gravesite where like they could communicate with her and come back to life. Like, is that the plan? Like because what was the point? They just like died in that cave.
I think it had something to do with like she's been to the other side for a long time, and the mom has too. So
and the grandma, or she's like telekinetic too.
I don't know. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I got to look at the Denny's napkin again and see if it's on there.
Yeah, so that's like the whole, this movie basically, yeah, it just kind of reopens the whole thing. It's like we follow up with the family a couple years later. They're living with the mom's mom, so the grandma, and the grandma's basically like, I also have powers too. So you're like, okay, so it's not really about the little girl. It's really about like this family of psychics. And I don't know. It's fine, but yeah, it just kind of retreads the same thing. The ghosts come back. They hide they're like, we don't have TVs anymore, so it comes back through the toy phones, and then yeah, there's just fucking ghosts and monsters again. They have to get Zelda Rubinstein back, but this time she's like, I don't want to be in the movie that much, so I've got my friend. And like he takes over for most of the movie.
Yeah, she comes in at like pretty much 3/4 in, right? I don't really remember seeing her at the beginning. Oh no, we do see her at the beginning. We see her at the beginning, right?
Yeah, right
at the house.
Very beginning.
And then we don't see her again until like 3/4 in.
Yeah, I don't know, she's such a diminished part, and I kind of wish she was bigger, even though I really like, what was his name? Taylor. I really like Taylor.
Yeah, he was cool. I think that the Tangina or Zelda Rubinstein, they could have done a lot more cool shit with her.
I know.
She's such she's the, like, Besides from Carol Ann, she's the iconic character of this franchise.
I know, she's got such iconic lines. So
Like, it's like you're in an airport. And then I always think of the South Park, where they do like the thing about like the dead celebrities or whatever. Oh, dude, it's so funny.
Yeah, no, they nailed that. No, it's. I mean, so they kind of underutilized her in this movie, which really sucks. And even though Samson's really cool, also just want to shout out that's the actor from One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest. That's the Chief from. Have you ever seen him?
Samson. That's Chief! Oh,
Yeah.
shit! So the guy who plays Taylor is Chief. Oh, he looks so much bigger in Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, so that's him. That's the actor who smothers Jack Nicholson at the end, McMurphy.
Shit. Dude, that's sick. Yeah, he's a good actor, man.
He died, dude. So another part of the curse or whatever, he died like right after this movie.
Well, dude, didn't the guy who played Kane die during the movie?
Dude, yes. So the guy that played Taylor died in 1987, so a year after this movie came out. And then, the Kane, the main villain, he had stomach cancer, I think, while they were filming.
While they were filming, yeah.
Dude, because he looks really skinny and just, like, gaunt, and, like, you're like, wow, this guy, the makeup's great. And you're like, nah, he actually was dying.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like in Indiana Jones when their melting faces are going on. Like, he looked really, really skinny.
Yeah, so he's the main villain in this, so the first one didn't really have, like, an actual character you could latch onto. It was just, like, scary things were happening. This one's like, okay, this is an actual embodiment of the bad guy. And, dude, it's pretty fitting that we did Scary Movie 2 and then, like, this movie. How similar are the characters to you?
The Scary Movie thing?
Yeah, from the guy from Scary Movie 2, Chris Elliott's character.
Oh, nailed it.
It's like the same thing, which is like, God is in his holy temple.
It's kind of funny how that happens, where like that is unintentional. That like we just did a movie that like pretty much parodies a ton of shit from this movie. That's insane to me that happened.
Yeah.
It's the wheel, man. The wheel's freaking crazy.
It's evil, yeah. But isn't that funny though that like the God is in his holy temple? That's literally in Scary Movie 2.
Yeah.
It's just like directly. And then at the end of this movie, dude, when the special effects are going crazy and they're all on the other side, when it's like God is in his holy temple.
Yeah, I mean honestly, that's I'm right now. I'm fucking texting you a picture that I took of that. I'm like, you're gonna tell me this movie is good? Like
God is in his holy temple. Dun, dun, dun.
It's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, and it's just okay. I know exactly the scene you're talking about. It's like where it's all clouds, but it's like clearly just like on a sound.
Yeah,
stage.
they're like obviously on like a zip line or something.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay, that looks terrible.
Yeah, what did they do? What happened?
That's the worst part of the movie.
And then the grandma angel comes. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, okay, it's bad. That's bad.
She's not even buried there. No.
The scariest part to me, I think, though, it's not really special effects, but, dude, it's the way when Craig T. Nelson and Kane are talking through the screen door at each other, dude. There's something about that scene that's just scary.
That was well done. I'll tell you this. I my history of this is I remember my dad watching my dad loved the first Poltergeist. Loved it. And I remember him watching this movie. I know he was joking about like how it wasn't good back then, too. But I must have been 6 or so, 7, maybe 7, when it was just on like TV. It was just like on the channel and he was watching it. When he drinks that worm,
Yep.
I'm still, well, 2 things. That has always stuck with me. I never finish my last sip of a drink. Hand to God. And there's 2 reasons. One is this movie. Another reason is I had an ant in my soda once, and I'm always afraid that the last sip isn't going to have an ant in it. It's like a psychological thing.
How often would that happen? I mean...
It happened a couple times in my lifetime, Alec.
Okay.
You know how much Mountain Dew I used to drink. You know how sugary delicious that is for ants.
To be fair, you had a cockroach in your drink that one time at that restaurant, so yeah.
I want the people to know how nice I am at restaurants. I had a cockroach in my drink. I kindly told the waiter, like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I have the waiter was like freaking out like he was going to lose his job. I'm like, just like, can I just get another one? Like, Alec, wasn't I like, I don't want to say anything.
You were like, it's fine. I'm like, Eric, it's not fine.
Because I'm traumatized by waiting. I don't believe in sending food back. I just don't believe.
You didn't have to be an asshole. You didn't send the food back. You just said, hey, there was a cockroach in my Diet Coke. And the guy's like, holy shit. And he said, dude, the food is on us. I'm so sorry. We weren't like, excuse me, we're going to Yelp this.
I was like, oh, I just want to let you know in case this happens again kind of attitude. That's where I was.
Right. He was mortified. He's like, fuck.
Listen. Here's $200. Here's the next Battlefront 2 Star Wars game. Like, please,
don't report this.
Don't Yelp me. Don't Yelp me, bro.
Okay, so to be fair, you've had worms and or not worms. You've had bugs in your drinks.
Well, it's funny you said so. That's a mezcal worm. That's actually part of that drink.
Yeah.
It's a bottle of tequila he's drinking.
Right.
I've had 2 worm tequila mezcal, which is very expensive at a wedding, and usually the maid of honor or the bride's supposed to have it. It's supposed to be good luck, but they were asking me to do it. I forgot who did it, but it's one of my rugby friends did it, and I won't say his name, but you couldn't pay me to do that.
I always thought it was fake because just like you, when I was a kid, I saw this movie and I think I asked my dad, I was like, is that real? And he's like, nah, that's not normal or whatever. Because, dude, you go to liquor stores, you're not going to see that. But if you go to, like, when we were in Amsterdam, I remember they had, like, scorpion absinthe and shit.
Yeah, they had, like, moths in them and shit and all this crazy stuff.
I don't remember the moths. But
I'm always tripping balls. No, I'm kidding.
there was bees. I remember there was a bee, and then there was scorpion.
Well, that's how they do, like I just mentioned, Two Worm tequila. That's the show, like, it's really good tequila. And then it goes up to scorpion, and then it goes to something else. So there's, like, certain types of liquor that's how they class it, kind of like Johnny Walker Blue Black, but with fucking reptiles and shit.
I'm good with the label.
I'm just good with, like, yeah, hey, this is really good and expensive.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's a part of the movie that, yeah, exactly. That stuck with me, too. Like, I always thought it was part of the first one for some reason, but Kane, the evil guy, possesses the tequila worm in the drink that Craig T. Nelson's drinking, which I also want to say, even though there's ghosts haunting your house, even though there's possession happening, blah, 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 you don't get blackout drunk. Like, you don't get that shit-faced. He drank a whole bottle of tequila.
Was he drinking in the first one at all? I don't remember.
He was smoking weed.
He was smoking
and he had a cigarette when he was, like, talking to the cops, but I don't remember.
Yeah, that was kind of, like, off-brand of his character. Because I feel like he really cares about his family and wouldn't do that.
It's like, yeah, have a drink. That's fine. I get it. Like, take an edge off or whatever. But dude, he downed a whole bottle of tequila.
Yeah, that wasn't like his character last movie. No, he was staying up all night for his family. Like,
yeah, he's like training with Taylor, like trying to learn the ways of the Native Americans to fight the evil spirits. And he's like, actually, I'm just gonna get like shit faced.
You know what? It kind of makes sense. I mean, you've been through this once. It's like, okay, you've gone through it again. It's like, give me the fucking bottle. Like, let me just down this shit with the worm in it.
So anyway, so he eats the worm. He gets possessed. He gets like creepy, and so that's the scene that definitely stands out.
He gets like totally rapey.
I know. Yeah, he does.
I was like, okay, that's a side note on the Denny's napkin we didn't really need, but.
Yeah. Also, another weird thing about this movie, obviously the deaths surrounding the franchise is very strange. The older daughter from the first one was murdered by her boyfriend. Yeah, a couple weeks after the film came out. Honestly, I think it's kind of a little disrespectful to not even mention the character again. They just kind of moved. I mean, did I miss that? They never mentioned her, right?
I didn't. I was looking for a dedication after, and then when the credits rolled, I did not see that, and I didn't see it at the beginning. And probably because, dude, like you said, multiple people died. Like, Kane died too. And so it's like they don't want to dedicate it to all these people. And then people are... Then it becomes disrespectful. It's like, ooh, Poltergeist, look at all the people that died. Like, ooh.
Well, no, I don't even mean they have to dedicate it, but all they had to do was acknowledge the character. Seriously, this is how you fix it.
She went to college.
She went to college, and they're like, at least Dana's away from this problem at college. That's it.
Well, we don't know, like, if the executives and stuff reached out to the family and wanted to do that, and the family said no part of this. Like, kill her, like, get rid of her character. Sorry, poor choice of words.
I guess,
but,
yeah.
It was very fresh. I mean, this movie is what, 19? How many years after the first one, and how many?
4.
Like, so I mean, that's still recent from her passing. So her murder, actually, her boyfriend freaking murdered her.
I know. I just thought it was weird that they didn't even just mention her offhand, just be like, hey, she's not here, sort of thing.
Yeah, or just like a family photo and just say, oh, I miss her.
Yeah.
Anything. And nothing. There's nothing. So it's like, yeah, it was cold. But another, to change the subject back to like things that messed me up and traumatized me, the braces thing. Do you realize I never had braces? I'll tell you why.
Don't say it.
Probably because I didn't want that in this movie.
Eric.
I didn't want braces. Also, I had a slight underbite. I didn't really have anything that bad.
If you needed braces and your mom was like, hey, we got to get you braces, you'd be like, I'm not getting it. Because of this movie, and you have like squirrel teeth. Okay, you're lucky that you have nice teeth naturally, but if you had shit teeth, you definitely would have got braces. You wouldn't have used this as your argument in court.
I'd have Invisalign. I'd figure out a way.
They didn't have that, we were kids.
I know.
But yeah, so that braces scene, dude, that's great special effects. Like, so yeah, I looked at the picture you just sent me. Yeah, obviously, like the cloud scene at the end is shit. But dude, the braces is good. I thought that the worm was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I'm giving that the kudos. I'm saying they did a good job. They didn't cheap out on the special effects, which I mean, I think it was nominated for maybe an Academy Award for special effects.
I think you're right.
I don't know if it won, but I think for 86, it's very well deserving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and also, like, it still has that feel from the first one. I mean, it's, you know, the family's still similar. It almost has that, like, Jaws 2 feel where you're like, it's definitely not as good, but, like, it still feels like it's the same movie.
Yeah, like, they're a zany family. Obviously, they're potheads, the parents, and you get that, like, hippie kind of feel to them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's that one scene where he has long hair, and he's just like... He's like, blah, 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 back on the road, and, like, freaking out. It's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
I think they were just scrambling for ideas. Also, just while it's on my mind, just gotta say, Craig T. Nelson, why isn't that the dad bod? Why isn't that the dad bod? He was, like, in his 40s or early 50s then. Fucking dude looks good.
He is a dad bod. 100. Like, he's the the 80s dad bod, 100%.
Right.
When he does that in the first one, he's like, before, after, dad bod.
Dude, this one, I'm watching the movie. I'm just saying the dude's got his shirt off for a good portion. I'm looking, I'm like, how old is this motherfucker? I'm like, he is
Not
in
bad.
good shape for his age. Because, like, now people are like, the dad bod. It's like, so, like, I don't know, drinking beer on a fucking ride on lawnmower with a gut.
He's like long-haired, fixing vacuum cleaners in one scene, and the next thing he's like dad bod of the year with the short hair again. It's like, when did he cut his hair? I don't even remember him. He just, one scene, his hair was short again.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't care.
Craig Nelson probably is like, I'm not wearing the wig today. Well, we're so far along in filming, it's like, I'm not fucking wearing the wig anymore.
Just do it.
Like,
It's fine.
I can just see him like, what am I doing with my life in this movie? Like,
Well, he was about to get on Coach, like that TV show, for a bunch of years. So I'm sure after this, he was like, all right, thank God. I hooked like a
was he in
network sitcom.
Poltergeist 3?
No. So Poltergeist 3, that's the other thing. I don't really remember.
I love
it.
how you just said no. That's so funny. Dude.
All I remember about Poltergeist 3 is they ship Carol Ann to, like, Chicago, and they're like, just, we don't want to deal with this anymore.
I remember like something with a hotel and an elevator.
Yeah. She goes to stay with, like, her aunt and uncle in, like, Chicago, and Kane follows her there. But Kane is, like, it's played by a different actor, and, you know.
Is Zelda in it?
I don't know. I'm going to look it up right now. I don't know.
I think she is. I remember her in it. I remember someone dying by falling in an elevator chute. That's like one of the only scenes I remember from that movie.
Yeah, I think I saw it when I was a kid. But the thing is that's, you know, sad about that movie is she was super sick when they were filming that, too.
She had stomach issues, right? And her stomach, like, turned upside down or something, right?
Something terrible, yeah. But
That's
she
really
died, like, I don't know, during this or right after. It was really sad. Yes, Zelda Rubinstein is in it. Dude, and so is Tom Skerritt.
That's random. I mean, for what it's worth, this I can't think of I mean, maybe The Exorcist is probably the other most known cursed film, but this franchise is clearly, there's some bad omen about it.
Yeah, I know. It's super weird. But overall, I mean, definitely not as good as the first one. It's worth checking out, though. I really think if you like the first one and you're just kind of like, I just want to see what happens next, like, this is worth watching, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, how funny would it be if, like, because you know how, like, they really fucked up with the Pizza Hut thing in the first movie? Remember that?
What was the Pizza Hut? What was that?
Remember how they said, like, it's like, oh, we should order Pizza Hut, and he was like, I fucking hate Pizza Hut,
Oh,
or whatever. And, like,
right.
remember that?
I remember that. Yeah, that's bad.
So imagine in this one if they, like, really, really want to make it up to Pizza Hut, so they, like, you know what we should do? We should order Pizza Hut. Why order Pizza Hut when we could drive to one of their many locations located in the San Fernando Valley? It's like, you're absolutely right. We should go there as opposed to our home right now. Like, and they, like, overdo it. Could you? That'd be kind of funny.
Don't forget about the cheesy crust. We have to have the cheesy crust.
And of course, we can get a 2-liter Pepsi for only $1.99 on Tuesdays. It's like, oh my god.
And the number flashes at the bottom of the screen. It's like, wow, they really had a lawsuit on their hands.
That would have been so fucking good. Anyways.
Yeah. The music, to me, I was listening to the music, and like it was hit or miss. They brought in like Carol Ann's theme once or twice, like the nice like piano music, which is like the best like theme. Mm-hmm. But then like I'm listening to the music at some points, especially at the end. I'm like, this guy's just totally phoning it in from my mind. Like he's just like hitting the keyboard.
Huh. It didn't stand out like the score at the end or
The
anything.
only thing that did was Carol Ann's theme. When you heard her like nice like kid music, I can't really think of it off the top of my head or hum it. Mm. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a nice little like piano like I don't know how it goes, but
yeah, I kind of
terrible.
remember it. Another scene too. I sent you. They made like a deep fake of it. Is at the mall. That scene freaked me out when I was a kid. Where he walks through the woman Kane at the mall. Remember with Carol?
Yeah, and that's pretty good special effects right there.
Yeah, that was really good. But there is a very funny video if you want to check it out online. Just type in like Poltergeist 2 deep fake Joe Biden, and they just deep fake Joe Biden's face onto Kane for that scene, and it is actually very funny.
You do a good Joe Biden. Do a Joe Biden impression.
Just sign the damn bill, man. No, it's not that good.
Just sign the damn bill.
Just
That's
sign
good.
the damn
Just sign the damn
Camilla.
bill. I'm not gonna make it till next Thursday unless you sign the damn bill.
But yeah, so Kane is the reason I think this movie is good. I think if it didn't have Kane, if it was just kind of like, all right, we'll just have spooky things happening at the house again, I wouldn't have been as into it. They needed to introduce him.
So clearly they're not going back to that house. Like the first one ended, they're not going back to the house. So how do you do a second one? And what you do is you do one of the bodies in that graveyard is super pissed and wants Carol Ann and wants this family to pay. Mm-hmm. And that was a good idea. I'll give it that. Like, I can't really see a good idea for a sequel. The only idea I do have is we do, not 5 years later. We do Carol Ann now, mm-hmm. and dealing with a similar situation, and she's more of the Zelda type character. That could be cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't really do that with the actress who passed away, so it's kind of tough. But that's like one thing that I wouldn't hate seeing is like Poltergeist, like, the next side.
Dude, Poltergeist 4, like, actually, dude.
And it's Carol Ann, like, in the future.
I mean, like, Craig T. Nelson's still alive. Most of the people are still alive. I mean, T. Nelson comes back, he's like, God damn, I'm too old for
What's he
shit."
doing?
Nothing. He's just hanging out.
Yeah, he's chilling, dude. Get him in. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how good The Exorcist does. I know I don't know if they're that's still in production, but I remember reading how like Linda Blair's coming back. The mom is like coming back for it.
Oh yeah.
So they're doing like kind of like the Halloween treatment, but just one movie. So I'm for it. Like I love it. I would love a Poltergeist. I wouldn't call it 4.
Yeah.
I would do like one of those like Poltergeist forever, if anything. No,
oh my god. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, but I honestly, because I know they did the remake in 2015 or 16, and like it just came and went. Like nobody talked about it really. But if they were to do like a legacy thing, maybe a direct sequel to the original one, the family's older, like I'd be down. Fuck it. I'm in.
Or just like call it like Poltergeist, They're Back.
Yeah, something seriously. I mean, god damn it. Like,
I would definitely stray from the Kane thing, but I do like Carol Ann. What would be cool? Like,
I think the whole thing is like her life has been hell because they never really addressed the problem. Like they just kind of went on with their lives. They never got rid of the bodies. Like the house disappeared, but the problem's still there. So they have to go back and address that. They have to actually move the bodies, and in doing so, it awakens whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you could bring in today's stuff. Like, for example, you have like a rich family from LA moving to Texas. Like that's a huge thing going on right now. Everyone's moving to Texas from LA and California. So maybe you do something where like places are like, yeah, let's just build on this like Native American burial ground or gravesite, and like Carol Ann's like maybe a senator, not senator, but like somewhere in politics, and she's like really against it and like kind of goes off the deep end and gets involved.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, because yeah, she could at least be like, I have experience with this, and you don't know what you're messing with, blah blah blah. And, yeah, I mean, hey, why not? Why not? I'm in. If they made a Poltergeist, because it's been a while. I mean, forget the remake. Like, just continue with the original one. We like that. Yeah. So remember in the first one there was like the paranormal like team that was there, whatever. Those like that woman.
Yeah, that's what this is missing too. Like,
right.
Where's that's what I kind of want. I want like the found footage kind of shit. Like these people going on tour,
right?
Saying like, look at this girl, and like Carol Ann becomes like a celebrity in some ways. Like of being the one person to go to the other side, and they ask her like, what was the other side like, and she's just like, it was bright. And scary, and like says stuff like that, really creeps people out and stuff.
Yeah, it's like in a live studio audience or whatever, and they're like, "Carol Ann, can you answer this?
Did you see my grandma?" Like,
oh my
just
God.
Like everyone's like freaking out, asking.
Yeah,
it's like no, it's like no, grandma's in hell.
There you go. Though I mean, because that's the thing. This movie, they could have done that like the Amityville people, where they like went on tour and they were talking about it, and like like they cashed in on it a little bit, but that could have been, dude, there we go. The family in this movie, they should have been cashing in on what happened to them, and then the spirits come back because they're like, are you serious? You're making money off of us now? We're going to fuck you up. That's what should have happened in this one. Right?
Yeah, well, or like maybe like the dad has an opportunity to like, it's like, hey, like you've made all this money, and like Zelda's like, you should put that money into putting the headstones back on the graves. And he's like, no, that's up to the guy who like was a dick and did that. It's not my problem. It's like, you really should.
You have all this money now from your book tour, and it's just like, it's not my problem.
You should definitely pay back those that have paid you back, sir.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could get really weird. Yeah. And then you add the CGI crazy shit at the end, and then they get in the same kind of crappy movie. Poltergeist 1, great movie. Other ones, not so great.
They had 4 years. They didn't really think too much about this one. They're like, what if there's like an Emperor Palpatine kind of guy named Kane, and he's actually the puppet master? Like, that's the direction they went, and then they just retreaded the
literally, it was executives. They came in like, we're making this movie. I don't care how we do it, and we need the fucking Zelda lady. Like, that's it. Like, get her, wheel her out there if you have to. I don't give a shit. Like, get her in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, do you think Steven Spielberg had much to do with this one?
Nothing. Look it up. I need to know now. Does he have anything to do with this movie?
It just says characters by Steven Spielberg. That's
yeah.
it. So.
Yeah, I'm sure he's like, you guys, I know what you're doing, like, with this movie. And it's not going to be any good. Based on characters by Steven Spielberg, not produced, not written, not directed, just his character. So he literally was given a check to do a second movie, and that was it.
I mean, I do have to say, like, you know, everything aside, like, the outdoor shots of, like, Arizona and, like, where they go to, like, wherever Taylor is outside, like, you know, in the mountains and stuff like that, that looks really good. Like, they got some really cool shots of just, like, scenery.
Yeah, you know, $19 million budget, you think you can get a couple good shots.
They did.
I think so. No, they did. Dude, it's not the worst movie, but it's like, you know what it is. It's milking a cow.
But why wouldn't it have come out in, like, 1985 or 4 then, you know? If it felt like they really were like, we need to make money right now. Like, you think they would have came out with it immediately.
Zelda was, like, probably doing a book tour or something.
Zelda. It just keeps coming back to her.
No, I mean, that's probably it. They probably had, like, another year or so of the actors and stuff doing other shit. Yeah. And so they had to wait for their contracts to be done to start filming this one.
Maybe. Yeah, it's fine. I don't know. Check it out. Why not? The poster's fun. I have no idea what it is, but...
What is the poster?
It's like a doll. It's just a doll on a black screen.
No, it's Carol Ann.
Yeah, zoom in, dude. I think it's a doll. Is it Carol Ann?
It's Carol Ann on the phone.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. But it just looks weird.
She looks like a doll.
Yeah, I mean... she looks like... She just looks... Like, what is that? It's just like her in a spotlight, and what does it say underneath? They're here? They're back. They're back. Yeah, the quality of the one I'm looking at sucks. But, what was the poster from the first one, though? Hold on.
It was her getting sucked into the TV slowly.
That's I like that one better.
Yeah, it's way better than the phone thing. I mean, the phone was the TV in this one. But remember the robot that's like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It's like, all right, we've jumped the shark now.
Like Toy Story bullshit. Like
Toy Story bullshit. I mean, because that's the thing. They got rid of all the TVs. There's no TVs in the house, and like the son is all like. Here's the thing: the son's mad. He's like, "No, Dad, I can't watch the game because there's only a radio." And it's like, do you not remember what happened, Robbie? Do you not remember what happened?
Slaps him across the face. Yeah. Do you remember what we went through?
It's like, you don't need to watch fucking baseball. Do you remember what happened?
Your mother went to the other side with tennis balls covered in goop. Yeah. We're not watching TV.
Yeah. Oh my god. Seriously, imagine that conversation. It's like, Johnny his parents let him watch TV at his house. It's like, did Johnny's parents have to go to fucking hell?
Johnny has Disney Plus. It's like, well, you can listen to it on the radio.
Yeah. Yeah, jeez. Anyways, I don't know. You got anything else to say about Poltergeist 2?
Nah.
Okay.
I'm out of ideas to talk about Poltergeist 2. I would like to see a older Carol sequel, and yeah, this movie was pretty generic.
Yeah,
good special effects, kudos, but that's about it.
Better than the third one, if I remember, but
we'll do the third one eventually, just for shits and giggles. I feel like we should.
Yeah,
just do that, and maybe the remake, which is probably hot trash from what I've read, but. Is it hot trash?
The thing is, when a movie, like, literally, like, no one talks about it, like, that's usually even worse when people shit all over it. It's like, people didn't even have enough effort to write it sucked.
Yeah. I just love, like, movies and shows that, like, they're just advertised to no end, like crazy. Yeah. And then the second it's out, like those billboards and advertisements are gone. Like Wanda Does It. Remember that show?
Sure.
From like 2001.
20 years
like
ago,
Comedy
yeah.
Central was just like Wanda Does It. Wanda Sykes going crazy. And like every other commercial on Comedy Central was that. The episode, like midway through the episode, that was like, take it off the air.
See, now, you know how, like, there's buses, and the sides of buses have, like, you know, ads on them, like, big ads or whatever? You know, it's like, Wanda Does It, coming to you, know, Comedy Central this Friday or whatever. Like, what happens to all of those when those shows, you know, eventually, like, do they just throw those in the ocean somewhere and somebody finds it?
Nah, dude, people collect, the bus drivers collect them and stuff. Like, we used to collect Mylars from movie theaters.
I mean, my dad actually has the genie from Aladdin 2. It's like, he's back or something like that. And he has it in the garage, and it's like from 1990.
He will never get rid of that either.
I know.
That's staying with the family for generations. Aladdin 2. Is that what was that one called? The Prince of Thieves movie?
What?
Was it the Prince of Thieves? I forgot what the name of it was.
Jafar, or Return of Jafar, I think.
Oh, Return of Jafar.
Yeah, and yeah, my dad's passing that down like it's an heirloom.
I couldn't tell you. I've seen that movie. I couldn't tell you one frame of what that movie was. I don't remember anything about that movie.
I remember Jafar's an evil genie, and Iago like saves him in the beginning. That's about it. Yeah.
He was an evil genie in the first one too. Sorry, we're going.
No, it's like Jesus. Poltergeist 2 sucks so much. They're talking about fucking Return of Jafar. Well, what do you say you spin the wheel there?
Well, let's spin the damn wheel.
God is in His holy temple. God is in His holy temple. I love that at the end. That's the best part.
All right, ready, spaghetti?
Yeah.
Spinning. Ooh. Alien.
Yes.
Singular.
Perfect. Yeah, we did Aliens a while ago. Hell yeah. Great movie. Can't wait.
Very excited. Great movie.
Well, thank you, everybody, for listening into our discussion on Poltergeist 2 The Other Side. If you haven't had a chance, we covered Evil Dead Rise. A bonus episode came out last week, and so did Scary Movie 2, so you can check those out. And we will see you all next week with Alien.